What is up, and welcome in to the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. I'm your host, Ezra McCann, and I'm joined, as always, by our outstanding co-hosts. He's a Chicago Public League legend. He's a Simeon Wolverine legend. He's a Grambling State Tiger legend. He played second base there back in the day. He was all swag as Brandon Williams, a.k.a. Coach Smoke. And we got the NFL Draft analyst. He was writing all day. You can catch his work at NBCSportsChicago.com and the My Teams app. He's Glenn Morgan. Gentlemen, what's going on? How you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Manager. Back on that the bandwagon, the Tennessee bandwagon, back on top of it again.
I didn't see. Did you guys get a win?
Dude, not only did it get a win, they ran up the score on Missouri. When I say ran up the score,
it was a close one though for a while. It was crazy how out of hand it got.
That's true.
Fast.
It was like Missouri was like, hey, we in this game, it's third quarter. And then Tennessee like dropped 20 plus points, just like that. But what really made it bad was the game was over, right? It's like maybe a minute and a half left into the game. Tennessee has the ball, backup quarterback's in. They're around maybe the 20, 30-yard line of Tennessee. Tennessee runs the ball in the middle. You figure, oh, okay, they're just going to run the clock out. Running back goes maybe 2-3 yards. Tennessee comes back, gets back in the hut, gets back in the line of scrimmage. Play action, 60-yard ball. Dude falls at the 2-yard line. It was like, what are you doing a play action bomb at the end of the game? Like you're really trying to score for real. It was so bad, man. And then they ended up punching it in. So they put a 60 burger on them. But yeah, man, they beat down Missouri, and Missouri made it close with Georgia. So Tennessee's trying to maintain that argument. I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit later on to be in the mix for the playoffs.
Yeah, I made the big mistake of watching Illinois and Purdue. That was a brutal watch, man. Yeah. Purdue pulls it out, but not very good football.
No.
Not very good football. That's all right, though. I guess no one really wants to win the Big Ten West. And we can get into that in a sec here. But let's start off with the Bears, who I'm finding they've changed me as a person.
Wow, how's that?
For this season.
How do you mean?
There was a time when the Bears would lose to a team like the Detroit Lions, I would be really, really upset, pissed off, angry. You wouldn't want to talk to me until Wednesday.
Wow. Okay. Serious.
I didn't really have those sentiments on Sunday. I was actually in a pleasant mood after that loss. I was like, wow, Justin Fields is making strides.
Oh,
he made a play that he could learn from with the pick six.
Yeah, no, that was still good.
Learn from that.
Followed it up with another epic play.
Right. Let me get that back real quick.
What a way to follow it up.
Yeah.
Right?
And so I was in a pleasant mood on Sunday evening after the 31-30 loss to the Lions. I don't know. Am I crazy for that? I don't know.
No, it was a better loss than it would have been a good win.
Yeah.
So
explain that.
By losing, we improve our draft positioning, but we saw that we probably should have won that game. We did things to where we could have won that game. There were mistakes made, but also rectified. So you saw the team be able to bounce back, which is good. When you mess up or make a mistake, you want to see the bouncing back ability. I'm making the words here of a team. We saw Justin, stay focused, and Detroit winning doesn't hurt us. Us losing doesn't hurt us. We're not going to the playoffs. The win would have meant not much in terms of our overall success or failure. It's still like the same success even with the loss in a way, but with a better long-term benefit by improving our draft positioning. So I don't think the win would have been as helpful to the overall long-term, long play of the Bears looking forward, as opposed to having this loss short term helps us out when we play the long game. That make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see where you're going there.
Yeah. I'm a little conflicted. So I definitely felt like you did, is like, yeah, when the Bears used to lose, I'm not watching. Well, I can't say I'm not watching no sports talk because they don't talk about the Bears.
That's true.
It's certain games I would not watch them because they will. Like if we lose to the Packers or if we're on prime time, I'm not watching no sports talk television if the Bears lost. But like I'm usually be fired up, pissed. Like can't nobody talk to me. But I've been like I was good. I was straight. Like, like man, another week of Justin being Justin. And it came with another entertaining loss that actually helps us in the long run.
Right.
But when I say I'm conflicted, one, what I love is Justin wants to win.
Mhm.
Like, and that's the beautiful thing about this whole thing. Like, granted, everybody on the outside, and I'm sure Ryan Poles on the inside is like, look, this is like the best of both worlds right now.
Gotta be.
But on the flip side, it should be rewarding to see that the leader of the team, who we look at as our best player, is eager and is hungry for wins. Like, they're not coming now, but that hunger is there. And I'm a firm believer in learning how to win. And that's why I say I'm conflicted, because that's one of them games where we should have won it. Like, unlike the games before that, we were chasing and had a chance to possibly win. This one, we were winning and like gave it away.
14-point lead in the fourth.
That's what I'm like conflicted on it. Like, damn, and it's like we had another chance, this time the offense just couldn't do anything on that last drive, versus in the past, it was always somebody else effing up a Justin comeback.
Right.
So, it was like, damn. But like I said, I'm not really mad about it, but I would have liked us to pull it off, especially with that moment, to have a game winning drive, but I definitely felt once Santos missed that extra point, I definitely felt like we were losing this game.
Right. It's weird. I felt the same way.
It was like it was known. And all I could hope for at that moment is I bet not lose in fantasy by 1 point, or I'm a muck Santos up. I'm cutting. That's all I could think about.
I actually looked at it as an opportunity, because when Santos missed the extra point, that made it 30. It was 30-24 at that point, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, we all knew the Lions were going to go downfield and score. That was inevitable. So I said, you know what, this is a chance to see if what Justin's moxie is. Getting a possession in the final minutes of the game. Mm-hmm. So that's how I looked at it. So actually, Cairo Santos has to be, he has to be feeling really good right now, because I don't think anyone was really mad at Santos for missing that extra point, in a normal season.
Not after the fact. Yeah. In the moment, maybe people were. But after the fact,
in a normal season, I think we're all cussing out the kicker right now and asking for a kicker tryout.
Yeah.
And questioning this guy's credentials for being a kicker, a la Cody Parkey. But yeah, I had high hopes for that final drive, and obviously didn't go the way that we wanted it to. Braxton Jones had a big penalty on that drive that pushed us back, I believe. And penalties all day.
The penalties killed us, man.
Really,
It's
really
some
killed
that
us.
was a lot of questionables, but
There was
Still.
there was the one that the refs missed, the unnecessary roughness on Jared Goff when he was out of bounds, and he fell. But they who got the penalty on that?
Gordon hit the ball and
right,
not him.
Right. And he fell on the sideline, and they called that an unnecessary roughness.
That one though, honestly, watching it live speed, I thought he did hit him.
You can see why it was made.
No, I thought
because he was running so hard to catch him. I'm like, I knew he didn't really like hit him, but I'm like, he put his hands on him enough to cause that because of his momentum, how fast he was going. And then when they showed the replay, I'm like, damn, he didn't even touch him. He literally punched the ball, like, but in fast motion, you couldn't tell he punched the ball. It looked like he like wrapped around Goff and pushed him out of bounds. So I kind of I didn't trip on that one because I think in fast speed, I think it would have been called by any ref. The one for me was the illegal hands to the face on Jalen Johnson after.
Oh, that was bad.
That's the one that's like, and that one would have probably sealed the game.
Now, it was a chop to the throat. But not illegal hands to the face though. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a clean chop there, but what can you do? But yeah, I don't. Speaking of Jalen Johnson,
yeah,
he doesn't look 100% out there. Should he be out there?
No, sit him down. Need him healthy for next year. And
because I ain't never seen him look that bad.
Yeah, he looked like 5 steps slow.
Yeah,
especially on the there was the crossing route to St. Brown in the fourth quarter, and he just looked like he couldn't even run.
Yeah, about Johnson. Bring some guy out the practice squad. Let him sit down. Let's secure more losses. Look, we said it earlier, and I'll repeat it again. There are going to be games that we have probably no business winning, that you don't expect us to win, that we'll win. San Francisco, New England. And we'll have games that we should probably be winning that we'll lose. Last weekend's game was one of those games. But we'll play the Jets. We'll probably beat the Jets. We play the Dolphins. Could have won a Dolphin game. We'll play the Falcons. Probably can beat the Falcons. We play Detroit again in Detroit. That one we'll probably win. We might even beat Green Bay, or we might lose to Atlanta. I still think 6-11 is where we're going to eventually be, and we're kind of still on that path in a weird kind of, like you say, time doesn't move linearly all the time, or success doesn't move linear. It's an up and down kind of thing. So I'm not tripping about it too much. Like you said, the Bears are showing. I mean, look about it. The last month, the Bears are leading the NFL in scoring.
Yeah,
the Bears are leading in scoring, and brother ain't passed for. Ain't come close for the 300 yards passing. Ain't come nowhere near close to it.
And that is, and what we're seeing during this stretch is the amount of people that do not truly watch football.
Shady McCoy.
Oh, definitely Shady McCoy. And
emphasis on the shade.
And he pissed me off in a new way this weekend, and I'll get into him when we talk about the rest of the NFL, because he actually said nothing about Justin Fields this week, but I got another issue with him. But yeah, like, people are like, I'm seeing so many people say, I keep telling y'all the Bears will never win with his style of play and all this. Like, dude, right. He's scoring 30 points a game. 30 points a game. If this was another quarterback of a different skin tone, traditional quarterback and he's putting up 30 points a game and still losing, everyone is going to blame his defense.
Right.
Exactly. No one is going to blame him. And this is not the Bears of old where the defense is giving us a touchdown or two to assist the offense in scoring.
Not even close. This is all offense.
This is all offense.
It's not even special team.
This is all offense.
Devin Hester's not coming through that door.
Exactly. This is all offense. When have we seen our offense give up a pick six and 3 plays later, we take the lead again? When have we seen that?
We've seen that, but not the offense do it. We've seen it on a kick return.
or the defense. Oh, yeah. Well, we get the ball back. But right yeah,
on a kick return.
Kick return or something. Like we don't see what we've been seeing out this offense, man. Like, and that's what's so easy for Bears fans right now. For most, I'll say, because there's still some who just gonna just be haters. Like you just gonna have those. But for most Bears fans, that's what's so easy right now because we've been subjected to terrible offenses.
Terrible? Are you generous?
I'm being generous.
Yes.
Okay. Well, God awful.
Yes.
For far too long, and has been able to build, I will say, solid defenses much quicker than we've ever been able to build a solid offense.
Well, I mean, that's in general.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's what gives so much hope because it's easier to build a defense.
Mm-hmm.
Like this offense doing what they're doing is like, and this is with all the holes that we still believe we have on the offense. Not believe that we know we still have on the offense. And they're doing this. And they're not doing this against chopped liver. Like I said last week, I know we're going to go back to the New England game, but this to me goes back as far as Minnesota.
Yeah, they put up 30 on Dallas.
Like
really good defense.
And then probably schooled the league to Dallas after what we did to them. Look how Green Bay played against them.
Mm-hmm.
Like we kind of the spoiler for these teams. Now they probably like, shit, we don't want to play them. They're going to expose us in a way that we don't want to be exposed. But yeah, man, like this is crazy to see what this offense is doing. Like it's exciting. Like to be able to watch Bear games, to be able to appreciate shootouts.
Right. For us to be part of a shootout.
Exactly.
It's not other teams in the NFL we're watching a shootout.
I
was gonna say it's like you hear some pundits say, hey, this Bears Miami game or this Bears Detroit game, this might be a high scoring game. You don't usually hear high scoring in Chicago Bears in the same breath.
You don't hear that. I mean, just to think earlier in the season.
Yeah, exactly.
That's going to be a low scoring game.
Right.
And it's like, damn. And it's like, damn, I really wish, even for Washington, I wish we could have played each other now. Mm-hmm. Because Washington looks better now.
Better, yes.
Like I really would have enjoyed to watch that game where both teams have, with Washington, we helped them in a sense because we hurt Wentz and they had to go to Heineke. So we helped them, and then we helped them find themselves. And then,
which by the way, I still don't understand why Washington went to Wentz over Heineke when Heineke actually won a playoff game for them. But we won't.
He didn't win.
I'll tell you why. Just watch the game last night against the Eagles. And there's some passes where when it comes out his hand, I'm like, is it going to get there?
Yeah.
And he gets there.
The one that Gardner Johnson
that just hung in the air. And if
McLaurin had him beat so bad, and it was like,
yes,
where's the ball?
And it just hung and it drifted back into the middle of the field instead of going outside. Now he threw that great pass to McLaurin. It's Heineke. It's a great pass, McLaurin. And Heineke will have 2 or 3 of those a game. But then there's times where if he doesn't, he throws based on anticipation. If he's a tad bit late, it ain't working. And dude was 9-9 going into that game career. Now he's 10-9. So there's a reason why they were not enamored with him. He is limited. He is a great backup to have. Well, but he's limited. So they'll be drafting a quarterback.
Looks like he's a pretty good starter for the have right now.
Yeah, he's a good leader. He plays motivated football, but that's not sustainable.
You know, he reminds me of Steve Walsh.
Yeah. Athletic Steve Walsh. I'll go with it. Yeah. Or what's the other dude we had? Shane Matthews.
Shane's that's a good one too. Yeah. Same guy.
Exact same dude.
I got a question. Why didn't N'Keal Harry dress on Sunday? And I get there are roster limitations. You can only dress. What do they dress? 47?
Something like that.
Yeah. And I know Pringle came back, but I feel like a big wide receiver just to help your quarterback out a little bit could be a help. But didn't understand that roster move on Sunday.
Just in case, I guess. He dressed just in case. Just in case. I don't know. I mean, clearly, I don't know how complicated, complex. I don't know what is involved in him learning and being able to execute on the field, but apparently it's taking a little bit more time than as fans we would like. But I look at the Harry move and the Claypool move as moves towards next season and moves as far as this season just to help the running game and help Justin feel like there's somebody he can throw a ball that might catch it.
So you think Harry's back next season?
It's too early to tell, but I think there's a possibility. Yeah, he's a late first round pick. And for a team, when you look at the Bears and you say how many first round picks do they have on their team? Well, they didn't have any until they added Leatherwood. Outside of Justin, they didn't have any until you added Leatherwood and N'Keal Harry, who were cast-offs from other teams. Right. So
I think they got rid of their 2.
They got rid of Roquan. Right.
And
Quinn.
And Quinn was a first round pick, though he wasn't a Bears first round pick.
Well, Nas though, so
right. So it's like
Harry
and then Leatherwood, right? So you let 2 go and got 2, so you still got the same 3 you had starting out the year, which is really god awful. So I think that's the question. Leatherwood, Harry, maybe even Claypool to a lesser degree. Are these guys who are going to be on the team next year? I think they have an opportunity, and the rest of the season is a tryout. So we'll see.
Well, yeah, I think my thought was with Harry, I just felt like they wanted to see Pringle because we haven't seen him. Probably. That was kind of my thought.
I don't dress both. I don't
really know.
Like I said, I know there are roster limitations.
Yeah.
Special teams things, but I just think
the receiver room. Well, we had Mooney, Claypool, St. Brown, Pettis, and Pringle.
Right.
So that's kind of how
they dress 5.
Yeah. And quite frankly, I felt like Pringle was used more than Harry ever be. So that kind of told me something, that even though he was injured, he might have grasped the playbook earlier, or
he was here. He was here at the beginning.
Right. Or like I said, or they just wanted to see him, since he's back and see what we have. I mean,
plus don't forget, he comes from Kansas City, where Poles came from.
Yeah.
So
that's what. Yeah.
Well, I get. Yeah, I get. You got to start. I mean, you got to dress Pringle. I understand that. That's why he was brought here. But I just thought you could have found room for N'Keal Harry as well.
Still figuring it out. Still figuring it out.
Yeah.
What's my man's name? Running back.
Herbert.
Khalil Herbert is on IR.
Yeah.
He probably will be gone for the rest of the season here. This is a shot for Treston Ebner.
Yep.
It is.
To show what he can do.
Good opportunity.
Coming in the rest of the season. Because I don't expect David Montgomery back.
I don't know.
Next season. So this is his shot right here to earn himself some time. Because we clearly know that Herbert is probably going to be the feature back.
Maybe.
I think he's earned that. I think he's earned that right.
I think he's earned the right to try to be the feature back. We don't know what 5th, 6th round out of the multiple 5th, 6th round picks we have could be used on a running back from this school or that school. I mean, hey, I wouldn't be shocked if,
to be the number one guy.
Dude, running back. I don't know.
Herbert was a 5th round pick.
Yeah, right? but he's been in the league for a couple of years now.
I'm just saying, think about San Francisco. All the running backs they have, they drafted Elijah Mitchell. And, he ended up being the guy that came through. Although I think the kid from Ohio State was drafted before him. Trey Sermon, something like that, I think was drafted ahead of him. So with running backs, you just, I don't know, I hate that they're a dime a dozen, but
kind of like they are, though.
Yeah. I mean, ever since Terrell really going back to Shanahan Sr., Mike Shanahan, with Terrell Davis, it seemed like once he found gold with Terrell Davis and then Mike Davis would replace him and whoever else he had, it just seemed like 5th, 6th round. He's like, oh, wait, we can do this. We can get that kind of production out of a 5th, 6th rounder. Oh, we just need the offensive line to block like this, that, or the other. Okay. And all of a sudden, those 1st round picks that were running backs, after the Bears are part of that. I think it was the Bears, Miami, and I forget who else drafted. 3 running backs went in the first 7 picks or whatever. It was like
when we drafted Benson.
We drafted Cedric Benson, and you had both the guys from Auburn, Ronnie
Brown, and Cadillac Williams.
Right, yeah, Ronnie Brown and Cadillac Williams. Tampa Bay, Miami, and the Bears took running backs in the top 7 or top 10 picks, easily top 10 picks. You'll never, ever see that again. Saquon was an anomaly going top 2. You never.
Him and Zeke.
Zeke, I don't even think Zeke was top 2. I think Zeke was
he went 4.
4. Okay, yeah, that's going to be rare when you see a running back, and you won't see several like that. You'd be lucky if you see 2 running backs in the 1st round these days. So yeah, I'm just saying there could be another running back. The kid from Illinois could be, a running back, especially since he just got injured a little bit. Maybe he drops in the draft a little bit. Maybe he's a guy. Maybe the kid
felt bad. I was watching when he got hurt. Felt bad for him into that game.
Yeah, there's some pretty good running backs that are out there that are going to be there 5th, 6th round easy. So you never know. And just like you said, Khalil was a 5th rounder. Another 5th rounder come up and puts that pressure on Khalil, and maybe maybe he doesn't. Maybe they share. Maybe this 40-40, 20 split with the running backs.
Or Treston Ebner show us something.
Yeah, I think he's more receiving back, but you never know. You never know. I mean, Pollard's been playing with second fiddle for a long time.
I like the way he ran it in preseason, though.
I do too. I like the way he ran it at Baylor. He's got some good speed. He's definitely. But him and Ebner he and Herbert definitely have more speed than Montgomery. I mean, we joked so much a couple of years ago about Montgomery. It was the first time we see him get a 20-yard run. Would be the first time we see him get a 20-yard run.
Yeah.
That was a good joke we had about him. He proved us a little wrong on that.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Probably got 3 in his whole career. But.
Right.
Hey, before we go on to the rest of the NFL, I heard there was a Urlacher sighting on Sunday. Except he was wearing number 57. That's what everybody's telling me. Jack Sanborn, boy, you'd think he was the greatest linebacker ever. The way these people were talking, man.
Well, why you say these people? What you trying to say, man?
I'm just saying these people out here.
Who are these people? What you trying to say?
Do you know who these people are?
Hey, I'm not gonna go too crazy, but he did have a solid game.
He did. He had a really
Yeah,
really good game.
He's out of Wisconsin, right?
Yes, he is. Yes.
Wisconsin routinely puts out well-coached, well-versed linebackers. They're usually in position. They play sound football. Every now and again, you might get a really good athletic one that can be a little bit above average, but generally they're just well-schooled, kind of like Iowa offensive linemen.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Iowa offensive lineman actually better than that. But I mean, just saying that he's a Wisconsin linebacker. That's how I look at it. And those guys they're going to be good for your team.
Mm-hmm.
He was all right. He was all right.
Yeah, right.
He was all right.
Undrafted rookie. I mean,
was all right.
for the price.
12 tackles, not bad. They took an interception from him.
Somebody's got to make the tackles.
Right. Yeah.
But you would just thought, oh man, Roquan has been replaced.
Stop.
Do we want to touch on Claypool a little bit?
Yeah, go for it.
So that's been like kind of the talk around, especially Chicago radio today. Well, since the game, of his lack of usage, I would say. And so I'm wondering, like a lot of people are saying we have to see what he can be, like basically like forcing him the ball. And to me, I see his value already in a way that is being ignored. And I mean, a lot of people may not look at it this way, and it just may be the coaching finally scheming things for this guy. But it's quite funny to me that as soon as he show up, Cole Kmet starts breaking out, having breakout games.
Mm-hmm.
And those are things that I look at with the addition of adding Claypool has opened up things in a way that's being ignored.
Right.
Like everything doesn't have to go to Claypool, like for him to help this team produce. Right. And for me, what I'm seeing out of Cole Kmet, all of a sudden that this guy has showed up, that's Claypool's contribution right now to me, So that was something I've been wondering if other people might could see it that way now that I brought it out.
Well, no, but in conjunction with what you're saying, Mooney's not seeing triple coverage, or he's not being passed off from man to zone to man. You know what I'm saying? Not being passed along. So yeah, basically what you're saying is Claypool is helping everybody else eat a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine if that's what it is right now. I mean, dude's been here like a game and a half. I mean, it's like I don't even count the first game because it was like the same week he got here.
A week because he got traded on a Tuesday, so it's 2 weeks today.
Yeah, it's like relax. It's like we got a whole month of December of football games, and anything before Thanksgiving is gravy, pun intended. But after Thanksgiving, that last month, okay, now let me see what you got. The last month, you get acclimated, not just understanding the playbook, but understanding your teammates.
Yeah,
all that stuff, man. Stuff takes time, dude. And you're still dealing with a bad team. It's still not a really good team. It's still got a lot of disparate parts trying to figure out how to put them in conjunction to work together.
And we scoring 30 points a game.
And we're still scoring 30 points a game.
Look, man, we ain't got time to stop the production of the offense to force feed one person.
Right.
Man, I'm like, look, everybody's still talking. We need to see Justin develop as a passer. We're seeing it.
Right. He's still throwing for touchdown passes.
We're seeing it, man. We're seeing it. Like, get out of the notion that he has to throw for 300 or he has to have 40 pass attempts. It's funny to me how the media and all like the nice, it's weird to me because on one hand, when it comes to Justin, he's not doing enough. He needs to throw more, but we're scoring 30 points. On the other hand, Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers stole 20 passes, 14 for 20. They rushed for 207. This is the way they have to play. This is the way they have to play. Like, with a quarterback that we know is better than Justin Fields, at this moment. Like, we know this, but like, it's weird on that hand to me. Then you go to Dak Prescott. Why are they throwing the ball 40 times and they were having so much success running the ball? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, how they twist things to fit for certain players and against other players. Like, and that it really bothers me, because I think it's some propaganda, but it is what it is. But like man, the production is there. Like, he's showing when he has the time in the pocket, he's going through the progressions. He's hitting guys, whether the pocket moves or not. He's throwing accurately. Yes, he has some off throws. Everybody does.
Yeah, some of that's because he's trying too hard. He's trying to make something happen. Like, sometimes defense is going to win, and you have to say, okay, you won on this one, I take the sack. You won on this one, I throw the ball away. You won on this one, I throw a 2-yard pass instead of trying to get a 20-yard pass. Justin's still that young buck that that hasn't become the whizzing wise horse just yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take a little bit of time. Like Ed said, he threw a play. Experience was a good learning. We're not losing an important game because of it. So maybe now, when it's an important game, he does not make that play because he learned from this situation. We all.
Or he makes that play and does what the fuck he did when on the next possession. You know what? I gotta make up for that
right.
shit right away.
No doubt.
And he did that.
Yeah,
like man.
By the way, that was one of them. And it may. Do you think it's the fact that the NFL, and actually if you go to college, a lot of teams don't really run option. So
that wasn't an option play though.
Well, it
that
was
long run. That was he was just going to go to the outside.
It was a quarterback keeper, but he could have. I think he could have.
Was it an RPO?
I don't know if it was an RPO.
I don't think it was an RPO. I think it was just a design run to the outside.
But even with that though, the defensive end is supposed to stay with the quarterback, and
the DM
linebacker is supposed to.
Cole forced him. So the DN tried to stay wide of Komet. He thought Justin was going to go outside, and Justin cut in,
right,
and ran past the world.
Yeah,
so that's what happened.
And nobody
expected as soon as he made the cut, I was watching with my buddies.
Yeah, when he made the cut, when he made the cut, I was like, "Oh, it's over with." It's over with. Just like he said in the presser. He said, "Oh yeah." Well, he said once I made the safety miss, I knew it was over with. Like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I like that. He's been in Chicago for a while now. He even talking like us now. Over with.
Hey, let's move on to the NFL here. Just go around the league real quick. Want to start with
game of the week,
Vikings, Buffalo,
game of the year.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Quick shout out to the Vikings Buffalo game. As I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast before, but the Cook brothers are distant relatives of mine, and my whole family, my mom, my aunts, they were out there at the game.
Oh, nice,
crazy. Wish I could have went. They got a treat.
I didn't watch that. We were watching the Bears game.
And it came on after. And that little extra was more than enough.
Yeah.
Well, no, you know what? I didn't see
game within the game.
Oh, you didn't get the bonus?
I didn't see that. No, because I went to the football after show.
I always put that on my phone. I put that on my phone and listen to it.
So yeah, but I thought the game was over. I was like, what's his running back? Cook. Yeah, you just said his name.
Yeah. When he didn't catch
scores,
that touchdown pass.
Well, he scored to make it, I think he made it 31-17.
Oh, when he ran the 80-yard touchdown.
Yeah, right.
Gotcha.
I was like, oh, wow, that's nice. Minnesota's going to, make a game of it, whatever, And then as I'm watching the after show, like, wait a minute. this game's in overtime. I was like, what the hell just happened?
Oh yeah, so you
and then I saw I had to see the highlights, and I saw
man
what
Play after
happened. It was
play.
like, wow.
you missed the catch of the. Oh my god.
Yeah, of this year at least.
I think it's better than the Odell catch.
Well, it had more riding on it, and it was
more relevancy,
and it was
and
better defended.
And it was contested.
Yeah, it was contested. Yeah,
way better defended. That dude climbed the Sears Tower on that one, and one hand helped. Thank you for helping me catch the ball better.
Yes,
and took it out of his hand and came to 4th and 18. I mean, man, that's a hell of a motherfucking catch right there, boy.
Because I'm like, yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like, wait, did he just take that ball out? Like, so in fast motion, it didn't look like the defender had it. It looked like he just caught it.
Yeah.
But then when they slowed it down, the defender had the ball,
and
his hand
snatched
was there.
it down. Yeah.
And controlled it. Maintain control of that. Oh my God.
Will you be able to recreate that in Madden next year?
Not in the slightest.
but
no, that's a season defining win.
And a season defining loss
on both sides. Both sides.
And
the
I'll tell
win
you what,
and the defeat. And go ahead.
I was gonna say, in lieu of our earlier conversation about quarterbacks and media and how they're perceived and who's what and who's what.
Come on, hit it for me.
Look, I've been a Josh Allen fan.
Hit it for me. Hit it for me.
Not a fan of his politics. Once this tweet came out before the draft, I was like, okay, I gotta take you off my favorite list here. But as a pure football observer, I always thought he was a poor man's John Elway. So I'm very pumped for his skill set. And up until about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, he's looking like the MVP. The last 2 weeks, he's been looking like the opposite of MVP, PVM or whatever. Poorest valued member. Because he's been throwing he's been throwing pick after pick after pick after pick, and they've been bad interceptions. Like, how are you throwing that bad interception? You throwing it in his gut, and he's not been getting killed for it.
Nope.
He's a competitor. He didn't like that. You saw how mad he was.
Man,
he's gonna take personal accountability about that. And someone made a point. I don't know if it was Ryan Clark or whoever, but it's like, look, he being Josh has been talked about the kind of guy that can galvanize his team, and he's got that big personality. He's a prankster. The guys like him and stuff. It's like, yeah, the bigger the personality, the bigger the disappointment. And sometimes, how does he handle the disappointment? Because just as you can galvanize a room with your energy and you're being effusive and just that much energy, if you're the sourpuss in the room, you can bring everybody down too. And they say he's not necessarily playing hero ball, but it's like, dude, you've got to learn how to better take care of the ball. You're supposed to be better than this.
Yeah.
And he is not getting killed for that.
And
he is costing his team. Those 3 losses are kind of on him.
That is what has. When I said I was going to touch on something, you hit it on the head. He is getting so much of a pass that it is really bothering me, because it's because of his skin tone that he's getting this pass.
So what are you saying?
I sat and watched my favorite guy in the media right now, LaShawn Crazy Work Shady McCoy. I sat and watched this dude on his show literally kill Dak Prescott because he had a 14-point lead in the 4th quarter and blew it. He said top 10 quarterbacks do not do that. Do not blow leads. When they switched the segment to Josh Allen, he said, man, he just had a bad game. Like, let's not go there. Like, come on, man. Are we really going to say this about Josh Allen? Now, once did he mention this man blew a 17-point lead in the 4th quarter? not going to mention that. And he single-handedly blew it. It was Dak Prescott didn't blow that lead on his own. Josh Allen, you fumble a snap and you threw 2 picks, and you threw a pick in the fourth quarter.
2 picks.
Then you had a fumble. Then you threw the ending pick in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
He single-handedly blew the game, and nothing is said. Then you hear people are saying Chris Broussard another one. As you can see, I watch a lot of them shows because Nick Wright is becoming my favorite analyst. He's been on this Josh Allen thing forever because he's such a Pat Mahomes fan, and he does not believe Josh Allen belongs in the same breath. And I'm starting to feel him because it's like Pat Mahomes gets penalized for what he's done in the past.
For his greatness.
Josh Allen gets ignored for what he's done in the past. It's like, what if he done now? Like, and it's crazy. It's like they're saying, well, this is just like last year when Mahomes went through that bad stretch. No, it's not like last year, because when Mahomes went through that bad stretch, that's out of character for Pat Mahomes. What Josh Allen is doing is in character. This is what he is. He throws picks. He always has double-digit picks. Like for Pat Mahomes to get double-digit picks last year, that was out of character. That was not what we've seen for Pat Mahomes over his career. Like, so stop trying to, like, don't ignore his flaws. Like, and give him a pass for that, man. Like he's playing bad right now. Acknowledge that. Give him the same criticism you would give other quarterbacks. If Lamar Jackson does that, because when they were blowing leads in them fourth quarters, the Ravens well, Lamar Jackson got to play better. He got to do this. He got to do that. It wasn't the defense is simple. Only person I could say was coming at that defense was Stephen A. Smith. He was on that defense ass. But everybody else was like, Lamar gotta play better. It's been on him that they lost. And no one is coming at Josh Allen. Like, I'm really starting to have a really big problem with this.
Aaron Rodgers has kind of been let off the hook a little bit.
Oh, he's always
Tom Brady was kind of getting a little bit of a pass.
Has Rodgers been let off the hook? I don't know about that.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
I don't know about Rodgers.
Over his career?
Over his career. I'm talking about this season, though.
A little bit.
That's why Shady keeps me in, because he's one that be on Aaron Rodgers' ass, and I love that. That's why Shady keeps me watching.
Aaron Rodgers is only really criticized for his play on the field when he did the game before, not this game, but the game before last when they lost to Detroit, because how bad those interceptions were. Beforehand, he was being accused of not being a good leader, so to speak.
That's it.
But it wasn't like his play on the field.
I feel like Packer Nation has been down on Rodgers this year.
That's a little different than the media, though.
Right.
Fans are more emotional.
Right.
Well, the media you know what? I listen a lot to Colin Cowherd. He's never really been a Aaron Rodgers
see, and that's
guy.
the thing.
Yeah.
Like I listen to those people that hate me. Like, I that's why Shady continues to draw me back in, because he speaks on Aaron Rodgers in a way that I feel a lot of people are afraid of. Like, he speaks on the fact that, like, okay, we're blaming everybody but him. Like, it's always somebody else's fault. Like, when do it become his fault? Like, other quarterbacks don't get that treatment. Like, I can even say Tom Brady, to an extent, don't get that treatment. They were killing Tom early this season because he missed 11 days of training camp. Aaron Rodgers wasn't at OTAs to build a relationship with those young receivers. And they haven't mentioned that at all. Tom Brady was going through a divorce. He went to Robert Kraft's wedding, and they killed him on TV for this. And they are making excuse after excuse for Aaron Rodgers, whose only success comes by beating the Chicago Bears. Well, the man hasn't sniffed the Super Bowl in over a decade.
He had to win the Super Bowl too. He had to beat the Steelers.
Yeah, I don't care. Tom Brady has won 4 since then. And he getting crucified.
To your point, Trevor Lawrence has gotten a big pass all season too.
Richard
Well,
Sherman called that out.
I would say Trevor Lawrence just been forgotten about in
Nah,
Jacksonville.
eh,
I haven't heard good or bad about Trevor Lawrence.
well,
That's
that's
the
my
problem,
point.
though.
It's like
That's the
just
problem,
why,
though.
so why would Justin Fields be getting smashed for a team that ain't done nothing in years?
But now he's getting talk of MVP though.
Oh, one person said it. One
that's-
one person that likes
But
sound bites.
But I think that's the point,
But he's
though.
been but Fields has been getting his flowers the last month.
But I think
But because he's earned them.
But he's
I'm saying he does. I would rather be that guy that's being talked about than the guy that's being forgotten about. If that makes sense.
But I think so. I hear what you're saying, and I can get with that to a point. But going on what Brandon's saying, if you actually listen to the telecast, if you're watching some of these games, Lawrence will make a pass. Oh, that's why he was a number one pick. Oh, you see why. But as soon as he makes an interception, well, he's need to do a little bit better.
I got to be honest with you guys. I haven't watched one Jacksonville Jaguars game all year.
Yeah, I haven't either.
And that's what I'm saying.
But
he's forgotten about.
I wouldn't say he's forgotten about though. I will say he gets a pass that everyone that drafted behind him. I'm not even gonna make this about Fields. I'm gonna say every quarterback that was drafted behind him doesn't get. Like Zach Wilson team is 6-3. And the talk is Zach Wilson holding them back. Like Mac Jones went to the playoffs last year, and he currently has the Patriots 5-4. And it's still talk that Mac Jones ain't got it.
It's true, he doesn't.
I mean, I get it. And I'm not saying a lot of this stuff is not warranted. Of all the teams, of all these second-year quarterbacks, Trevor Lawrence and Trey Lance were supposed to make the biggest jumps.
Right.
We're supposed to make the biggest jumps. Now, Trey Lance got hurt. Okay, scratch him out. But so many people said the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to contend to win that division. And what are they? Damn that tied with Houston?
Yeah, I think they're 2 and
they're 3-6. Like they're 3-7 like us.
3-7.
The Jaguars and the Bears have the same record. What's Houston record? Because Houston definitely beat them.
1-7.
Houston's 1-7-1.
1-7
and their one win is against Jacksonville.
Right.
It's a major. It's going unnoticed. One person that said something. 2 people. Richard Sherman brought that up, saying he's getting too much of a pass, and and Mel Kiper said, if it's anyone of this class, that's the major disappointment is Trevor Lawrence.
Wow, wait, Kiper said that?
Yes. Now
shocking.
he said coming into the draft, it was 1A, 1B between him and Justin. He said he felt Justin should have went 2. He I said that from jump. So if I was to redraft, I wouldn't change that. I would still take Lawrence 1, Justin 2. But if there's anyone, and I'm going to say that's been a major disappointment, it has been Trevor Lawrence. I expected him to make that jump, and he hasn't. And now he's becoming ignored now, I think is because of what Justin is doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I don't think it's because he's in Jacksonville or no, he's becoming ignored now because Justin has took it to a point where it's no longer about those quarterbacks in his class.
Right, because Justin's doing it without all the help that the other guys have.
He's took it to a point where they're putting him in the category with these top quarterbacks. Like granted, I know the NFL ain't really supposed to be about fantasy.
But he's helping our fantasy team.
I'm 2-0 because of this dude right now. 40 plus back-to-back weeks. You get what I'm saying? He's single-handedly making that draft class become untalked about. Like Zach Wilson's going to continue to get talked about because the Jets are in New York and they're
winning.
Actually good, and he is the weak link, like, especially now that Breece Hall is out.
Right.
Mac Jones, he's with Belichick, like, so he's going to continue to get talked about. Trevor Lawrence, like, you were supposed to elevate that organization. Hasn't done it yet. I'm actually one that liked Trevor Lawrence. So, I'm gonna still say I anticipated coming. I still believe, as I felt him and Justin were the best two quarterbacks in that draft, and I still believe it, so maybe he'll figure it out. We'll see. But I think it's because of Justin that he's going ignored now.
You know who else is going ignored?
Who was that?
To some degree, or just fading into the woodwork? 2-7 Las Vegas Raiders. What the hell happened to them? And it's Josh Allen, or not Josh Allen.
Josh McDaniels got to go, man.
He has got to be on a very hot seat. It should be a hot seat. And as a matter of fact, I'm with you.
He gotta go. He gotta go.
Dude.
Did we discussed Jeff Saturday last week, right?
Yeah, we did.
He comes in.
He won.
And they won. And they played well. And they brought Matt Ryan off the scrap heap. He wasn't supposed to play the rest of the year.
He brought now. Okay, I know we kind of was bringing up the Raiders, but I gotta say this. I know we talked about it, and there was some bull, but there's something to be said about a person that can be a leader of men.
Here we go.
I'm just saying, like,
What
Jonathan Taylor was a lost cause. You bring a Hall of Fame. Is he a Hall of Famer?
No, he's not Hall of Famer.
Not
Hall
yet.
of Fame caliber.
Will he be, you think?
Just tough. Offensive lineman in that center position. There's not a lot of.
He could become that.
Okay, well, Super Bowl champion O-lineman comes in.
Accurate.
And now Jonathan Taylor finally gets over 100 yards rushing.
Matt Ryan, 2 touchdown passes. Matt Ryan ran for like 15 yards and didn't get touched.
Does that make him a leader of men, or is it a spark?
C. He's a sparky leader of men.
I think it's a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Because he could have easily, like, that was a wild hiring, man. It was wild.
I watched that game on Red Zone.
Mm-hmm.
So they were going back and forth,
right.
The Colts and Raiders, and you noticed that there was a lot of excitement on that sideline.
For the Colts,
can it be sustained though?
Well, probably not. Probably not.
I think it can be. Dude, let's not forget.
Not this year.
No, hey, that division is still very much open. I know the Titans have a bit of a jump, but it's not like the Colts are 2-7. I mean, they're 4-5-1.
4-5-1. Yeah.
So, and we talked about this team. Now they've still got some significant injuries. Shaq Leonard's still injured, a couple other people, but we talked about this team. It has the talent. It's been a playoff caliber team. It just needed a quarterback. We said that you said you could have said it about the Colts the last 3-4 years. So the talent is still there. It just has to be utilized and cultivated in a better way. And what Jeff Saturday said was like, hey, look, I'm gonna let these guys do what they do, and I'm gonna do what I do, and that's more or less, make those decisions. Do we go for a field goal? Time possession, calling challenge flag. I mean, just basically being a CEO is what it sounds like he's going to be to me. Something that our previous head coach probably should have tried to do instead of trying to be everything else. If he was a CEO, he'd probably still be here. But just as look, he's like, I'm not dumb, I'm not stupid, and my common sense tells me there's no way I'm going to come in here and just change everything. So we need to get things working the way that they can work with what we have. And we're a run-oriented team, play-action-oriented team. So let's be that. comes down to kicking a field goal or going for it, give me the points.
And see, that's why I wanted to talk about the Colts, because everything we just said is why Josh McDaniels needs to get his ass fired.
Exactly.
This guy just coming in and he's able to make those type of adjustments. Like, and you can't, like this, like you got Derek Carr crying in press conferences. Like, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with crying, but like but I felt that. I felt it because all the stuff he's went through.
Mm-hmm. Right. That wasn't just that game.
Yeah, that wasn't just that game.
That goes back to last year.
They went through last year,
mm-hmm.
and then they bring in a top receiver in the game in everybody's eyes, in Devontae. And Devontae is still one of them guys. Let's not get it wrong. Still mad that 1 week he only gave me 1.5 points.
he made up for it on Sunday, didn't he?
Last 2 Sundays.
Yeah, he made up for last 2 Sundays, but I lost that week. I should have been on the 5-game winning streak.
Oh,
you know, but hey, but like, and we're losing like this. Like, what was it worth? What was it worth?
To your point, real quick, like to your point, as far as a head coach making a difference, Jeff Saturday was an example, but also too, you look at with the Minnesota Vikings last year. I think they were 1-6 or 0-6 in close games. Right now, there's like 6-0 or 7-1, something crazy like they're winning those close games. And I thought the Kevin O'Connell hiring, I was like, whatever, dude, you weren't even calling plays for the Rams. How the hell you get the head coaching job? Well, hey, some of those decisions you make, and granted, some of it might be luck. You know, Josh fumbling the ball was fortuitous for Minnesota, but you do things that help your team in that position. Exactly. And you don't do things to cost yourself losses. And Josh McDaniels, like you just said, the Raiders won a lot of close games with the tight ends, or was he the special teams coach or whatever he was, who was the interim coach last year?
Rich Bisaccia?
Yeah, something like that. He was like the interim coach after the whole Gruden thing, and like we talked about last week, the Henry Ruggs thing. And you come in and basically, you know, Derek Carr is like the leader, de facto leader and face of the organization, and they are winning these games, you know. And granted, some of it, you know, is emotional, you spur it on, but like you just said, you bring in a guy who this is the second time around, and he's been an offensive coordinator for a couple of Super Bowl winning teams, and he's his second go around. He comes in and he have more talent to work with than he did when he was at Denver. And y'all, they have blown 4 17-point leads. They are losing close games.
Maybe,
come on, man.
Maybe he's an offensive coordinator.
Yes, I think it's. And I'm sorry, the Vikings Zimmer was the opposite. He was losing those close games. So you change the coach, now you win those close games.
But it's like you asked, what makes someone a leader of men? Josh McDaniels is clearly not a leader of men.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's clearly not. He's a subordinate.
Man, you harsh.
It's simple.
Well, that's fine. You know,
it's simple.
Being self-aware is okay.
I'm
not saying you're wrong. I just say it like that. It was just
But it's the truth. It's the truth, man. Like I end up having to post it. I'm like, man, we causing all this ruckus over just Saturday getting the job. We need to be wondering why Josh McDaniels still got a job.
Oh man.
Oh, did you hear the Raiders?
He's burning the organization to the ground.
Well, here's the deal. All right. I wasn't a big fan of the Jeff Saturday hire, just because I thought that it was unfair to
still
coaches on
that
staff.
We all still agree that.
Yes, it's still unfair.
But if they can have a really good game against the Eagles on Sunday, you might be able to change my mind on that. Like I said, I think that the Raiders game was a nice spark, and everybody was happy about change. You know, change is sometimes good.
if he beat the Eagles,
He
or
going to beat the
if he
Eagles.
have a tight game or
I'm on
beat the
board.
Eagles, it's not. I'm not gonna necessarily say I'm on board,
I'll be on board. I will.
but I'm
I,
definitely
I,
gonna ask some questions about the Eagles. That's all I'm gonna say.
well, why do we think the Eagles were suddenly this unbeatable team? I mean, they struggled against the Lions. Okay,
But they're a good team, though.
I'm not saying they're not. I said what makes people think they're unbeatable.
No, I don't think they're unbeatable.
Exactly.
Everybody was talking about the Eagles could go undefeated. I was like, no.
I had them losing their first game December 18th, but
Is that the Bears game?
yeah.
Man,
get beat by the
have no
better
faith.
version of your quarterback. No, I'm just playing. I like Jalen Hurts. Don't give me. I am a Jalen Hurts.
But no, I didn't. You're right. I didn't understand the whole Eagles love. I think they're a very good team, and I think they're a Super Bowl contender. But the whole undefeated thing, that I wasn't buying that for a second.
As much as I like Jalen Hurts, as much as I hate the Cowboys, I still think the Cowboys is a bigger threat in the playoffs than the Eagles.
I think they may have more playmakers on both sides of the ball than the Eagles do. And more of those playmakers probably reside on the defensive side. But I think the Eagles have very good players on defense. I don't know how many of those guys are playmakers like Trayvon Diggs is, and like my guy Micah Parsons.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are game ready. They
what
make
the
plays.
hell was Dan Quinn doing with Micah Parsons Sunday? That's the type of stuff that make me think NFL be on some other stuff, man. He didn't have him on the edge at all. That's questionable, man.
Something they saw in the game plan said that we need you maybe in pass coverage. We need your athleticism out there.
That's not what makes him Micah Parsons.
Well, I mean, what makes him Micah Parsons is he can do all those things. I mean, the guy can literally play probably every position on the defense except nose tackle. He could actually play. He could play corner. He's got 4.3 and 8, 4.39 speed, so he's fast enough to be a cornerback. He can definitely play safety. He can definitely play any linebacking position. He can play the edges. He probably just can't do interior defense. But if you ask him to for one play, he'll probably be quick enough to get behind the offensive lineman or something. But yeah, dude. I mean, but I think Dallas. I agree with you. Dallas has a few more playmakers on offense. I mean, you got AJ Brown and Devonta Smith, Sanders to a degree. Maybe Goddard, but I think with Dallas, you got CeeDee Lamb. I think a healthy Michael Gallup can make plays. Pollard can score from anywhere. Zeke is still a threat if you ask me, especially with getting tough yards.
I think if they had Zeke, they don't lose Sunday.
Yeah, and as much as Prescott can have his issues, he's a better passer than, at least a more accomplished passer than Hurts is. So yeah, I mean, Dallas can be a threat, but you know what always makes me say no to Dallas? Coaching staff.
I'm about to say Dallas.
Yeah, coaching staff.
They're gonna get in their own way.
Just what you just said. Why did they do what they did? Why you deviate from what works? You running the ball, you're getting 5 yards of carry. Why is Dak passing when you still got a 14-point lead? Why is he passing more than the team that's trailing?
Man.
Don't overthink it, stupid.
But that takes me back to what I was saying. People like Bears they down and they still running the ball. Yeah, Green Bay was down, still ran the ball, came back, won the game.
Sometimes it works.
But hey,
Hey, let's move on to college football here.
Man, I was so close on my plus 40 for Indiana.
Man, I got something for you for that. I think I probably messed you up, but
damn.
Let's start with what's going on at UVA at University of Virginia. 3 of their players were killed in a senseless act of violence by a former teammate, which is really crazy. condolences go out to the families of Deshaun Perry, Devin Chandler, and Lavelle Davis Jr., who were members of the UVA football team. Just man, I can't even imagine what was going through the head of this coward that that did this. But that's just a sad situation, man. That's something you don't expect to happen, for people that young to lose their lives. But the community's grieving. They don't know yet. UVA still has, I believe, one more game to go on the season.
Two.
They play. Oh yeah, two more.
You got Virginia Tech still, and the game this week that's supposed to be coming up.
So yeah, they haven't decided if they're going to play this season. I don't know how you could after something like this. That's devastating. So I would understand if they didn't. I understand if they do play. To play for their memory. So I would get, either decision that would be made by those teams. But
Coastal Carolina and Virginia Tech, the last two.
Okay. So tough situation.
Yeah, that's tough, man. Like, I know, of course, I went to Grambling, and like my little sister went to Grambling, and anytime, and Grambling had some incidents on campus while she was there. So anytime I would hear of a shooting on campus or anything, my heart would instantly drop. Like, call my little sister. Oh yeah, I'm been in my room all day. I'm good. Like, okay. But like, you instantly get that worry. So like,
Yeah.
First thing you think about like is the families. Like, whew, how do you like you expect you send your kids to college and expect them to be safe? Like, that's always first thing that come to my mind when I hear about these type of things, like mass shootings at schools. Like, we send our kids to school with the mindset that they're going to be safe. And these things happen like this, it makes you fearful. It really does. And I mean, my heart goes out to the families, to the school, to everyone that is affected by this. Like, phew, man.
Oh wow. I'm sorry. I'm just looking on, like I said, it was a shooting at University of Idaho. Multiple homicides today.
See,
wow. And that's something you was just talking about before we got on.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Earlier, when we talked about bringing this subject up, I was like, hey, do we need to start being concerned that you're going to start seeing a rash of these things? It seems like when one happens, a couple of more seem to pop up within weeks to a month of it happening. And here you are telling us that something happens on Idaho's campus. And I hate to sound like a broken record, because that's what we all sound like in a lot of ways. Comes to the mind of, we just recently had up voting and figuring out who's going to be, in charge of the House, who's going to be in charge of the Senate and all these things. And it's like every time these things happen, these politicians are quiet. You don't hear nothing, or they find some other reason to say it's not what it is. Man, these guns are an issue, man. I mean, people having access to them is a problem. People having the easy access to them is a problem. And I realize, stuff's in the Constitution, and the horse is already out the barn in terms of, people not going to want to give up their guns. But some people, everybody ain't supposed to have a gun, man. Mm-hmm. And clearly there's some people out there who have other agendas, people who are wrongly motivated, people who have other issues. And we're going to keep having these stories over and over again. And who pays the price? We all do. We all suffer. We just lost 3 lives with loss. We have, and these are young people who are at institutions of higher learning. We have absolutely no idea how they would have been, beneficial to humanity, what they might have brought to the we don't know. And here's the thing, not only are they damaged, we don't know how that damage affects the family. We don't know how that damage affects the younger members of the family. We don't know if this fear now prevents them from, maybe, I don't want to go to college because, JoJo got taken out, or whatever the case might be, or the parents, I'm not sending you away. You're gonna do this, or whatever the case might be. And the people at the university, how has that impacted the campus? When a person loses their life, man, it's not just a loss of life that is gone. It's that effect, that's the damage. I mean, not to sound crass, but that person is gone, so they're not here. The people who are left behind, that damage is felt and reverberated through them and the people that knew them. How does that affect? How does, then you have that? How does that ripple effect? And then you talk about multiple lives. Now you're talking about multiple ripples of all that bad negative energy going out that's affecting people. And it's I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what you do. I don't know how you protect yourself. Because you could be the right person in the wrong place at the wrong time for no reason other than you just existing. People are losing their lives for existing. What kind of sense does that make?
And I've had this conversation with many of my friends who carry legally. I carry legally, but I most often don't even care about that, because in today's society, carrying does not protect you. It doesn't protect you. You have no idea when this stuff is going to take place. What is having a gun going to do? Find it more beneficial for me to leave my gun at home, in the house, and protect if someone try to intrude my home. But other than that, I for one, I have the mind. I'm not a person that's wilding out in these streets, so I'm not expected to be a target. So I'm not on edge all the time. Anytime somebody walk up to me, I'm ready to pull. No, I'm a regular citizen. That's that. One thing I want to bring up is also so whatever story comes out of this, of how it took place, anything like that, I want to put that out there now on my side, that I could care less. I don't believe life should be lost in any instance. So I just want to put that out there in the air, because it might be a wild story that come out as to why he acted the way he acted. Could care less. Lives didn't have to be taken for that to happen. But Glenn, you brought up the politicians and and the guns and stuff, and it's funny that that you mentioned that, and then I see earlier today, popular gun range here in the Chicago area was broken into today. I don't know if you all heard of Eagle Sports Range.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah. Was broke into, 23 guns were stolen. It makes you question, should these places of that nature, should they have maybe replicas, fake guns, and when you buy some, maybe you have to order it, and because I know they're not going to necessarily say no guns. I know that's not going to be the case, but it's because that's what they do a lot of times. They break into these gun stores and steal them. And some people sell them on the black market and all that stuff too. But something has to give. It's definitely a lot of guns in the wrong hands. And this is just a very unfortunate situation.
Absolutely. So yeah, prayers out to those families that have been affected, and to the UVA football team. Um, let's segue over. I guess we'll talk about the playoffs real quick. Um, big
Nothing,
weekend.
nothing changed. I think with the group, the selection committee just finished not too long ago, and the top four are still the same top four.
TCU was top 4 last week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's still Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, and TCU. People thought maybe TCU might jump Michigan, but they didn't. So
It's no need.
yeah, not at this point. And Tennessee's 5 with LSU moving up to 6, and USC is behind them. So a 2-loss LSU team is ahead of a 1-loss USC team. I think Oregon, it was Oregon last week. With Oregon's loss, LSU's jumped up. So it's interesting. I mean, Georgia, chances are they'll win out. They have Ole Miss, who's 8-2, but I don't know. But you never know. You never know. Injuries can happen in the game. Ohio State's got. I'm sorry, Georgia doesn't have Ole Miss. I'm sorry, I looked at it the wrong way. But I think the rest of Georgia's games, I think they're definitely like super league favorite. I think the SEC championship game where they play LSU is probably the one where, although they'll be favorite, there's a chance that they might lose that one. Ohio State and Michigan obviously going to play each other at the end of the year, so that might allow some other teams to move up. And TCU still has a couple of tough games left, and they still have Big 12 championship game, and the winner of the Ohio State Michigan game has a Big 12 or Big 10 championship game, and Georgia has the SEC championship game. So a school like Tennessee, kind of laying in the cut, is in a good space because they don't have any more championship games. They just have to win out, and any of the other teams lose that are ahead of them gives them an opportunity to be in the playoff run. But you can't forget about those teams that do have championship aspirations for their conferences, like USC and like Clemson, where winning those games can propel them. And I think
Clemson ain't getting back up there, GM. They better not.
Maybe
they
not.
The hell not.
But there's a lot can happen between now and then. And they just have one loss, and their one loss is to Notre Dame. And if Notre Dame beats USC, that helps Clemson a little bit in a lot of ways because it knocks USC down. Plus, it makes Clemson's loss to Notre Dame a better loss, if that makes any sense. And keep in mind, Notre Dame beat North Carolina as well. And if Clemson beats North Carolina in the ACC championship game, that pushes them up as well. So they're
Notre
still
Dame beat the whole ACC quietly.
Yeah, pretty much, right. Yeah, they couldn't handle.
And then those damn bums couldn't cover the spread against Navy.
Right. could handle Marshall or Navy really well, but they could beat on the ACC schools. But I'm just saying, there's still a lot of college football left to be played, and having this 14 playoff over the last several years has made college football a bit more interesting down the stretch. And looking forward, when it expands to 12 teams, you're really going to be seeing a lot of maneuvering and a lot of politicking, for where teams are going to be and who beats who won what game at which time of the year when that team was ranked, and how significant that may or may not be going forward. So yeah, I think college football is in a good space right now. And that in conjunction with watching these players that we look and see and that's college football, people gravitating a bit more to college football is going to make the NFL a little bit more appealing for those who are more NFL fans than they are collegiate fans, because now you may see a couple of these college players that you followed in the playoffs, because now it's not going to just be 1 or 2 games. You're going to see maybe 3-4 games, just kind of like how we used to do when it came to the NCAA tournament in basketball. Maybe you don't follow college basketball, but you follow the tournament, and you see that Steph Curry kid from Davidson, like, who's this kid? Man, he's really good. So now when he goes to the pros, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that dude. He was killing at Davidson. So I'm just saying that there's a connectivity here that could expand and help football in general be a bit more appealing. But that's just me being excited because I'm a football fan overall.
I guess my question is, if LSU beats Georgia, is it possible they can jump into that playoff?
LSU, most definitely.
Okay.
Because their loss to Florida State was early, and guess what? Florida State is ranked like 17th in the country. They're 7-3. So the more Florida State wins, the less bad the LSU game lost. And it was a close game. It was the first game of the season. New head coach. You can really explain that away, you know.
Yeah.
The only thing that really hurts LSU is that
they lost to Tennessee
at home, and they got the dog shit knocked out of them. It looks really bad, but they beat Alabama, and if they beat Georgia, who beat Tennessee, then and it's the SEC, and they do get a little more latitude because it's been a top-notch conference for the last decade plus. You know, some people say is it possible that 3 SEC teams get in? I don't think they're going to let that happen.
Hell no.
No, it's no shot.
Hell no.
I wouldn't say it's no shot.
No shot.
I would say there's a shot. They won't let it happen.
I'll say this.
But there's a shot.
I'll say this. It's not as doubtful as we think.
No,
because LSU, Michigan, Ohio State, one of them will lose.
Well, Michigan would have to lose to Illinois.
Well, no, but Ohio State, Michigan, one of them will lose.
One of them.
I understand, but I'm saying though, Michigan's gonna have to lose 2 because before a third SEC team is going to.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
They ain't played nobody.
No way.
I don't think so.
They haven't played anybody.
I'll say let's say
Penn State's only.
I'll say this. So it's 2 scenarios. If Ohio State beat Michigan, which we kind of all think
it's going to happen,
it's going to happen. TCU lose, USC lose. I'm not bringing up Clemson. It's no way they put them in that fucking playoff.
Yeah, Clemson can lose to North Carolina.
But if they lose, I'm gonna say they don't lose. But it's a chance. If Michigan lose to Ohio State, and TCU lose, and USC lose, there's a chance you could see 3. And I think the only way you don't see 3 if TCU lose and USC lose is if Michigan beat Ohio State. I think Ohio State will still get in.
Right. I
think Ohio State will still get in with the loss. I don't think Michigan will still get in with the loss if all those other teams lose behind it.
And here we're talking about winning and losing. You have to factor in close wins and close losses, or more so importantly, a close loss. Because a close loss is like, well, on a neutral site, maybe, or whatever the case might be. And keep in mind with USC, they still got to play Notre Dame. They could lose to Notre Dame, still make it to the, Pac-12 championship game, and still either win or lose that one. But they'll have 2 losses on the record.
Yeah, and 2-loss Pac-12 team is definitely not getting in. It's questionable for 1 loss.
Check this out. We were talking about the Big Ten West earlier. That no one wants to win this. As of right now,
Purdue will be in the championship game, right?
Yeah. So no team actually has like a straight course into the Big Ten title game. They all are going to need help at this point right now. So Purdue needs to win out, and they need an Iowa loss versus Minnesota or Nebraska. For Illinois to get there. Actually, I think Illinois, if they win out, they're in. But they're going to lose to Michigan. They're going to lose to Michigan. So if they lose to Michigan, they need to beat Northwestern, and then they need Purdue to lose. They need Minnesota to lose, and they need Iowa to lose. Iowa needs to win out. Or get a loss by Minnesota and Purdue and Illinois. Minnesota needs to win out, and they need a Purdue loss. And Wisconsin could still get there.
Oh, my God.
All these teams are still in the hunt.
They need to beat Nebraska, need to beat Minnesota, and get a loss by Iowa, Purdue, and Illinois. That's crazy.
And what's messed up is Illinois losing hurts Michigan even more.
Yeah.
It hurts Michigan even more.
So say a Big Ten West, man. That's gonna be something to look at in the next 2 weeks here.
Yeah, they can't wait for USC and UCLA to get there.
Hey, in the for time's sake here, let's move on to picks. And let's see. Last week, Glenn, you had a great week. 3-0.
3-0. Oof.
Oh wait, what? No.
He went 2-1 because y'all both picked the Bears.
You're 2-1 Bears.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You're 2-1.
Still, I still feel good about that.
2-1. So that puts you at 16-14 for the season. Smoke, you in 1-2. Brought up that Indiana game. I actually put money on I put that as part of my parlay.
How does that
Plus
work?
40, and that didn't work out. Yeah.
Oh, you played
Against Ohio
Indiana
State.
plus
I played
40?
Indiana plus 40.
Oh shit.
That didn't work out too well. Sorry about that.
I told you, don't let ass get close.
So you went 1-2. So you're 13-16-1 on the season.
I won the TCU game.
You won a TCU, yeah. Lost to Cowboys and Indiana.
Yeah.
And I went 1-2. I got the Vikings.
Yeah.
Luckily there, but then lost the Falcons and Broncos. So I'm now 9-19-2 on the season. There's no hope for me coming back here, I don't think.
Just say no hope.
No hope at all. It's crazy. So I guess I have to get started again. I'm going to start since I'm going to be at the game. The Bears are going to Atlanta. They are 3-point dogs.
Yep.
3-point dogs. So I'm going to take the Bears plus the 3. I'm going to take the Vikings plus 1 against Dallas.
Really?
Dallas. I mean, boy, Dak better not lose 2 in a row.
And I'm going to take the air. Ooh, no, I'm not. Because I don't know if Kyler Murray's playing.
Shit, they look better with goddamn.
McCoy looked pretty good.
Kyle ain't won since Call of Duty came out.
I'm gonna take the Washington Commanders minus 3.
Oh man, see now I gotta pick something else. Damn it is.
Smoke, who you got?
I'm also gonna go Bears minus 3. I mean plus 3. I'm going to go Colts plus 6.5 versus the Eagles. But I'm gonna go Raiders plus 2.5 versus Denver.
Why?
You were just talking shit about
well, that's one of
crying.
their 2. It's one of their 2 wins on the season. So I'm gonna assume they could get this one because these are 2 broken teams right now. These are the best of the broken teams. This is 2 very disappointing teams right now.
So you got the Bears, the Colts, and the Raiders.
All dogs.
Glenn, who you got?
Come on, join the party. Come on. Every time we all do it, we all win that game. Come on, join the party.
Tennessee's giving up too many points on the road. I can't. I wanted to go Volunteers. And they dropping points on people. So they're trying to run the score up. But 21.5 points is a lot.
Ooh, you about to go against them?
Nah, I'm leaving it alone.
Oh, I'm about to say.
I'm walking. If it was like 14.5, I'd have done it. But 21, that's 3 scores plus. All right, well, let me go back to my original picks then. I'm taking the Colts plus 6.5 a dog at home against Philly. I think the Colts might win that game outright, to be quite honest with you. I'm going to take Michigan because they need to beat the dog shit out of Illinois because Illinois is not helping them, but not being ranked any longer. So I'm taking Michigan minus 18 at the Big House. And although Ez messed me up, I'm just going to do it anyway. I'm going to take the Commanders minus 3 on the road against the Texans. Now, if I'm thinking I should just take Houston, just go opposite Ez and just take Houston, but I'm gonna stick with my original thought and take Washington minus 3.5.
Only giving Houston 3. That's interesting.
But the fighting Heineke's against the Lovey Smiths.
Against the Lovey Smiths.
That's an interesting line. After coming off a big win against the Eagles, that's interesting.
Well, yeah, it's still. I mean, Houston is not lost horribly.
Houston have put all their games have really
pretty
been
close.
Bloody.
Yeah,
even their game against Philly wasn't a complete domination by Philly.
Right. But they find ways to keep losing. I mean, if there's any team that's perfected the way to lose, it's Houston over the last couple of years.
All right. Well, good luck, everybody. That's going to do it for this week's edition of the Easy Smoke and the GM podcast. I want to thank everyone for listening. We greatly appreciate it. You can catch our podcast at Apple Podcasts, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also catch us at hp53productions.com. There you'll find a link to our podcast and the Father Good podcast hosted by Marshall Givens and Kenny Stevenson, and the Super Duper podcast hosted by Rob Griggs. Yo, Glenn.
Yep.
Please take us out.
Hey, like we always say, we ain't saying we're right. We just don't think we're wrong.
We won't catch you next week, but happy Thanksgiving. And we'll catch you the week after that. Take it easy.
All right, enjoy your holidays.
Happy holidays.